Christ almighty.
Okay, working on the balance of this phone. All right, going full Casey Neistat with the sunnies in this video, but it is what it is, y'all. Talking about freedom for a sec. Last summer of 2024, I did something completely out of my element, something completely out of the box that I don't do, which was I went on a solo 8-day road trip with no plan. I live in Vancouver, Canada. I drove up the entire Oregon coast, the Pacific Coastal Highway. I surfed, I hiked like 6 hours a day. I talked to people along the way to have the no plan, as it were, unfold into what ended up being a pretty exceptional plan, if I may say so myself, on the fly. And it took on a life of its own, and it was absolutely incredible. This was a gift/challenge to myself for my 35th birthday. Yeah. And I had the time of my life. I have thought about this trip, this experience, this grand adventure, probably every day, definitely most days. But I think some semblance of it has skimmed across the landscape of my mind pretty much every day. I love my daily life. I teach yoga full time. I have an online course. I do coaching. I have a lot of flexibility in spite of my obligations. I am, with teaching yoga full time, 3 things. I'm self-employed with my corporate and private clients. I'm a dependent contractor. I'm hired as an external coach to lead a yoga and mindfulness program at a private school that I'm in my 9th year teaching and leading now. So that's been an amazing career opportunity. Very appreciative of all of it. And I'm also an employee at public studios, clubs, teaching facilities, one specifically at the moment. So I'm all the things. So even with being self-employed, a dependent or independent contractor, and certainly being an employee, all of those things in the context of being a yoga instructor, you're still responsible to be at a certain place at a certain time, because if you're not there, the class ain't running without you, be. But doing something that I genuinely love, I'm in my 10th year teaching now, which is crazy. Second career. I was in the film industry pursuing acting for 12 years prior to that. And it's all been amazing. So this goes to say that I love my day today. It's organized chaos, you could say. There's structure as well as a lot of freedom. I can teach as early as 6 a.m. I could teach as late as 10 at night. I got a lot of free time in the day, as you don't have like an 8-hour shift. You don't work a 9 to 5 in the fitness and wellness industry, generally speaking, regardless of what modality that you teach. So it's not for everyone. Some people prefer that guaranteed, routinely structure of a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, or what have you, 7 to 4, Tuesday to Saturday, or whatever. But I'm able to find and connect to and create and feel into the essence of feeling like I'm on some semblance of a vacation, you could say, every day. That is how much I love the life that I've created for myself. At the same time, I want to be able to really experience all that life has to offer in terms of its full freedom. And what that 8-day trip up the Oregon coast, I dipped into California. I saw the redwoods. I came back through the Oregon interior, through Bend, Oregon. I saw Crater Lake. I went to Smith Rock. I just saw amazing scenery, incredible vistas. No plan, but just exist, adventure. I had just a simple cooler with ice in the back. Like, it wasn't meant to be a foodie trip. So I had healthy food, just made these little sandwiches, fruit, veg. I did pop into a couple fast food places. Like, even living in Canada, I couldn't tell you the last time I've been to like a Burger King, an A&W, a McDonald's, anything like that. I love cafes, coffee, pastries, and all that. But like going out to eat, especially fast food, it's not really part of my lifestyle and I don't crave it. I don't need it. However, while I was in the States, obviously, I went to Carl's, Jack in the Box, and In-N-Out. No regrets. So I want to experience it all, right? If you don't get something here, may as well see what all the fuss and the hype is about out there. So I've been thinking about this trip because I had the time of my fucking life. It was brilliant. And just to prove that you can do something that is outside of your typical identity, personality, how you would describe yourself, like, especially when you get older, 20s, 30s, and of course beyond, we all define ourselves by, oh, I'm the type of person who does this. Oh, I don't do that. But I never want to pigeonhole myself and put myself in such a neat, tidy box that even though, yeah, I know what I like and I like the things that I like in the way that I like them, as we all do, we all have our preferences. But I never want to limit myself because of the way that I might define myself, generally speaking. So I'm still shocked that I pulled this off because I drive a Mazda hatchback and I'm 5'9". Your girl is a little tall for this car when it comes to sleeping. In this, I had to sleep on a diagonal, even with my knees slightly bent if I was on my side or even on my back, but it was totally fine. I wasn't like super cramped, but just a little bit of extra space would have been beneficial. But even though my seats fold all the way flat, it was still a little bit tight. Nevertheless, work with what you have, do the best with what you got, as they say. And I had an absolute blast. It was one of the most brilliant, adventurous, zesty things I've ever experienced. Almost even more than international travel. Like, I've been to a few places. I've been lucky to experience some trips abroad, to Greece, to Bali, to Australia, New Zealand, Cuba, Hawaii. Very lucky. And I've explored more around British Columbia, my own backyard, since the pandemic, schmandemic. I don't know if I could say it without getting flagged, but the vid. And because it was my 35th birthday, that's why I did something out of the norm. And even when that trip came to a close, on one hand, I was ready to come back. Like, I took 2 showers in that 8 days at community centers, like the van life people do. And then I had these, they're called wilderness wipes from Mountain Equipment Co-op that you can, they're like aloe, they're made of viscose. So they're not super like, they're like wet wipes essentially, but they're larger and they're not like paper towels where they disintegrate when you use them. Like they're, I don't know exactly what viscose is made from, but they're like sturdy. They don't disintegrate basically when you use them, and they don't leave a residue. You can freshen yourself up. You can use them on your entire body and you feel actually like really good, really fresh. And you don't need to rinse it off or wipe it off or anything afterwards. So those were super helpful. You can just get them at your regular old mountaineering store, your outdoor gear shop, something similar, I'm sure. But you make it work. And it was just, it's even hard to describe the feeling that it gave me. Like, I was brought to tears almost with some of the scenery that I saw because I just felt so free. Even though I like my life, I love my life, in fact, on a day-to-day basis. And I don't have this desire or need for escapism. I don't live for the weekends. I love Mondays. I love Tuesdays, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, life is great. And I know that's more than a lot of people can say for their life. And on one hand, I'm very lucky, very fortunate, grateful, blessed, all those good things. On the other side of that same coin, I created this lifestyle for myself. It hasn't always been easy. And even still, no matter what you do, no matter how much you enjoy your life, there's always going to be challenges and things that you have to navigate and overcome. There's no perfect life without obstacles. Newsflash. And so I thought that maybe I would try a repeat of this grand adventure in a similar fashion, like car camping. maybe for my next big B day, the big 4-0, even though it's 5 years away. But because I've been thinking of this freaking trip almost every day, I'm 35 and a half now. I'm like, do I do something similar for 36? Things are a little, I don't know, sus right now, I guess, between the States and Canada, just with the political climate and what have you. So, I mean, I was just in the States a couple weeks ago to get my Nexus, and I had no issues. The border guards were absolutely lovely, super friendly. We're all pals. So I had a 12 out of 10 experience, no complaints. Very, very happy with how everything went down, very smooth. I did get approved for my Nexus. Yeah. So will things still be kosher come late August, early September? I guess we'll have to see, but I would love to hit up Utah, Zion National Park, a lot of places around Utah like Angel's Landing and Flaming Gorge have been coming up in conversation with just random people I've talked to, friends at my run club, my hairdresser. And that is a state that I wanted to dip into my last trip, but alas, your girl ran out of time. We can only do so much before life beckons. And not having like remote work, right? So my mind is going into all sorts of places in terms of the next great adventure. That's even what the script on my tattoo says, on to the next great adventure. I think I did actually mention that in my, I was a feral mountain woman for 8 days video. But I know freedom means different things to different people. And there's different kinds of freedom: time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom, so on, so on. But it was just such a beautiful experience. And I'm so grateful that I just summoned up the courage to fucking do it. There were several people along that trip, women primarily, who were like, oh, I could never do something like what you're doing now. I'm like, I've never done anything like what I'm doing now. So believe me, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. It's just making the decision. Even last year, I decided the day before I left that I was going to go. It was like a perfect unfolding of events where my schedule just opened up suddenly. For 8 days, I was supposed to sub a bunch of classes for another instructor, but she ended up having her trip canceled where she was going to go. And so she was going to be in town. So she was like, oh, can I teach the classes that you were going to cover for me? I'm like, yeah, of course, they're your classes. And I know that if I were in a similar scenario, if the roles were reversed, I would appreciate, having my classes back to teach them. So I'm not just sitting at home twiddling my fucking thumbs as a fellow full-time teacher. So I could empathize. Anyways, my schedule opened up for 8 days and I'm like, all right, let's hit the high road. And it was just the absolute freaking best. It was the best. So instead of waiting a whole 5 years, I am considering doing something similar this summer as well. We'll see. TBC though, again, given the political state of things, I know, can't we all just get along? Is it too much to ask? Place of privilege to ask that? Maybe, but nevertheless, oh God. Oops. Anyways, maybe that's my cue to wrap up this video. But my question for you is, how do you incorporate freedom into your days, into your months, and into your years? It doesn't have to be this big whole hoopla, a huge trip, an extended adventure. Again, what does it mean to you, and how do you invite that in so you don't have that sense of escapism or only living for the weekends? Or if you're not sure, is that something that you would like to add more into your life? Because I mean, remember, my friend, we get one kick at the can, at least in this incarnation that we are currently living in. So let's not waste it, yeah? I'm going to sign off here. I think that's a good note to leave on. See ya. You only hit me when you
Love drunk, cause you realize all I wanted was you. I be like, baby, don't do that. You press my buttons, you know better, depend on where my mood at. What's so f***ed up, I just might let her. We done weather, plenty weather, it's whatever with me though. Cause I know somebody gon' love me and won't never let me go. Think it's better that we grow with each other on my mother. What you do under them covers, it be better than